Hello everybody, my name is Kat Bowser. I am your current fantasy therapist and welcome to my channel. Those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Those of you who are returning, welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Kat Bowser. I'm a licensed therapist, but I am also a writer working on my first novel. On my channel, I like to dig into what I consider to be the heart of writing, which is the characters, and the heart of the characters is in their psychology. So everything we dig into on my channel will have a psychological angle to it, because I think that is a great way to make your world and your characters and your themes all the more fleshed out. So for today, we are digging some more into my video series on the 9 different intelligences. And for today, we are looking at interpersonal intelligence. Alright, so interpersonal intelligence is probably the most well-known intelligence. I'm willing to bet most of you probably know what it is already. Interpersonal is the intelligence, the ability to read and understand other people's emotions, thoughts, and communicate with them. People skills. That is the layman term for it, is people skills. These are going to be your counselors. These are going to be your teachers. These are going to be your politicians. And what I think is interesting about this one is it is tied into intrapersonal intelligence, which we'll go into next week, I believe. But it's tied into empathy. Empathy is really what gives these people, in a sense, their superpower, because they are able to understand and emphasize and sympathize with other people. They're able to pick up on their symbols, their signs of emotional distress, emotional happiness, all that kind of stuff. These are the kind of people that you could be sitting there moping and someone will come up to you and without saying a word, they will wrap their arm around you and they'll be saying, "Hey, what's wrong?" You haven't said a thing to them, but you don't have to, because they are very good at picking up on body language. I think a lot of emphasis is put on their ability to verbally communicate, and while that's important, I think what's more important is these people are experts at body language. They're going to pick up your change in tone. They're going to pick up your slumped posture. They're going to pick up on the way you're either avoiding or engaging in conversation, because they understand it to a level that most people don't. And that's why these people are usually your leaders. These are the people that can get people to rally. These are the people that can get people to form into groups. These are people that can push a cause. Let me throw out some examples for you guys. So I know this one is probably a couple people going to say, what? But Adolf Hitler, he was damn good at it. In fact, politicians today will study his speeches to see and learn from his speeches, because he was damn good at it. They used to say that it was a belief he would lose 10 pounds of sweat in his speeches because he would engage his audience. He was able to make people feel like he was talking to them personally, even if he didn't even know them. That is strong interpersonal intelligence, and it's one reason he got a whole country to rally behind him, for the most part. If I'm going to jump into fictional, I'm going to give you guys an example of someone who does not have interpersonal intelligence. Katniss from the Hunger Games. I am not going to hide that I am not a fan of Katniss. I'm just not. But for the purposes of this video, I think it's important to point out that except with specific people she is very close with, she is not good at interpersonal intelligence, because she doesn't communicate well. She doesn't pick up on symbols or signals well, or if she does, she ignores them. And that makes her come across as very awkward. It makes her come across as almost cold to a lot of people. Now, granted, some of that is probably her PTSD, but I've noticed that at the beginning of the books as well, before she goes through the Hunger Games. She's not a very sociable person. There's only specific people she really bonds with, and that's like her sister, Gail, and later on, like Peeta. Um, and she's just not very adept at knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to express herself to people. It's not her strong suit. It is Peeta's strong suit. That is one aspect of that character that I think works really well when he and Katniss are paired together, because his interpersonal intelligence is very, very high. He knows how to work the crowd. He knows how to appeal to their emotions. Even if he doesn't agree with their emotions, he can see and appeal to their emotions. And that gives him a strong advantage, which is why when he's paired with Katniss, it works very well. Let's see here. Another thing I think to consider is, like everything, there are levels to interpersonal intelligence. Like I mentioned, Katniss is not so good with strangers, but she's very good with her sister, and that's because they have formed a bond. And that's really where people learn interpersonal intelligence, is bonding with people. People that have strong interpersonal intelligence, from when they're very young, they are wanting to be in the social circle. They're wanting to watch and listen to people. These are what I call sometimes your people watchers. That's how they learn, is they pick up on these cultural cues that not everybody picks up on. If you were to drop someone with interpersonal intelligence in a new culture, they would falter at first, but they would very quickly pick up on, okay, here's a gesture you don't do over here. Here's how people react. Here's how people don't react. For instance, I'm trying to think of a good example. In some Asian cultures, smiling is considered to be kind of a symbol of being not being serious, and you want to be taken seriously, so you don't smile as much. Again, I'm basing this off of research I've done over the years. I've never been to Asian countries, so if somebody's from there, please correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what we're taught, so I'm just going to throw that out there. Another thing, cultural difference. If you grew up like I did in the South, when you first enter a house, you're expected to essentially greet the host of the house. You're expected to hug. You're expected to be very close and lovey-dovey. We don't have a lot of personal space in the South, and that's something that people with strong interpersonal intelligence will pick up on too, is what is someone's personal space? What is their preference? What is something that they're uncomfortable with? And this is something that you guys can actually test on yourself, is how close does someone have to get to you before you're suddenly uncomfortable? That is your personal space. And it varies depending on the person, depending on the culture. And this is something that people with interpersonal intelligence pick up on real quick. A lot of times you don't even have to tell them. They can usually tell by your eyes or your body language, and they will usually back up when they sense you're getting uncomfortable. In regards to fiction, these are going to be your leaders. These, most likely, your MCs are going to have some of this intelligence. Within my own MCs, Timma has it. Let's see here. Suna has it to some degree. She's still learning. Ani's actually really good at it. He doesn't think he is, but he's very good at it. And he sometimes is worrying a little too much about what everybody else's feelings are and not so much about himself. So that's one of his flaws he has to work on. So, I mean, basically, that kind of is interpersonal intelligence. It's the ability to understand and read other people and to communicate with them with that information. So, if you have a group of folks that are very socially awkward, they probably don't have a lot of interpersonal intelligence. Doesn't mean they don't have any, it just means that they don't have as much as someone else. So I think that is basically the bare bones for interpersonal intelligence. Like I said, this is one I think is very popular. It's probably seen a lot, and I don't think there's too much more I can say on it that you guys probably don't already know. Next week I will be talking about intrapersonal intelligence, and that one is unique and fun. So I look forward to that. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you let me know with a comment. Feel free to subscribe if you guys want to know whenever I put up new videos. Make sure you ring that bell. I try to upload every Sunday and Thursday, but I will throw you guys a few extra videos when I can. And until next time, I hope you guys have a good one.